This afternoon, I'm absolutely delighted to be chatting to Karen Farrell, who's the Facilities Manager for Turner Townsend. So the period of isolation, lockdown, has affected many different people in many different ways. But in your case, you've had a really positive experience and believe that lockdown has actually unlocked your potential. I would love to know more.
Yeah, so definitely, I think lockdown has been a different experience for everyone, but for me, it's definitely been one of growth. I think feeling stuck can really affect people's happiness and their well-being, and the best way to feel, I guess, unstuck is to really grow and try something different. Often the happiest people are those who do something outside their comfort zone or try something different, and it's this kind of this growth mindset which I've really embraced. Now my kind of lockdown experience, I guess, started back sort of this time last year when I went on maternity leave. And it was really interesting because the similarities between maternity leave and lockdown, it's almost the same thing. Don't go out of the house, don't socialize, stay indoors. So what was really interesting is when everyone was sort of forced to go into lockdown, I'd kind of had 6 months to, I guess, prepare in a way. And it was really interesting talking to friends of mine who were saying they were feeling really isolated, they were feeling really trapped, they were feeling really lonely, really bored. I was like, that was me 6 months ago. But I've kind of had 6 months to sort of, to deal with that. So over the past, I guess, the whole of lockdown, I've really kind of explored how to improve my mindset, how to have a positive mindset, which I then shared with people online. I started doing some videos on LinkedIn, which were really well received. And these were just simple things that I was doing, but that actually, resonated with a lot of people. Then my husband took over maternity leave and I had some spare time. So the time that I would have been commuting to work, I started using that to do things. I started cooking more, and my culinary skills have improved. I've read loads. I suddenly had space for my mind to really grow. Something I've always been interested in is mindfulness and meditation. That's really interesting because in the past, I've always thought, oh, meditation, boring. But actually, I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. Everyone talks about the benefits of mindfulness and meditation. So do you know what? I've got time for the first time in ages to actually pursue something that I'm interested in. So I did a 4-week kind of online mindfulness course, which was fantastic. And I loved it so much that I ended up doing a virtual online mindfulness teaching course. I'm actually a qualified mindfulness teacher now, which is brilliant. And now my aim is to actually blend the two together. Mindfulness is very closely linked with resilience, emotional intelligence, empathy, and all of this can be brought into the workplace to help employees to boost their well-being. The other thing is, with everything going virtual, my life has been enriched. Suddenly I could go to all my yoga classes again. I could go back to my choir because choirs have gone virtual. My running club went virtual. Everything went virtual. So suddenly, my life had actually been enhanced. And, I think the virtual world is great. I think you definitely need a balance. But certainly for someone like myself who it wasn't easy to get out of the house, the virtual world has been fantastic. I mean, even the theatre and comedy clubs have gone virtual.
What strategies, Karen, would you recommend to remaster your mindset so that you have a positive outlook and can stop negative thoughts from gaining a foothold?
So the one thing I will say about lockdown and feeling isolated and being trapped in the same sort of 4 walls every day is you can get really bored. And one thing I've always said is that boredom breeds bad behaviors. And when you're bored, you tend to ruminate. And when you ruminate, you tend to obsess over life situations or events that have happened in the past without actually solving the problem. So boredom can be really bad for your mental health. So definitely some strategies and some coping mechanisms that I did whilst I was sort of, stuck at home was to, if a negative thought comes into your mind because you're ruminating about something, is to get up and go into another room. Now, I know this might sound simple, but this simple physical and mental shift, so going into the kitchen to make a cup of tea, or going into another room, or going and having a shower, or brushing your teeth, just changing whatever it is you're doing. If you're sitting on the sofa and a negative thought pops into your head, stop and change what you're doing. And this physical mental shift will actually snap your mind out of autopilot, and then you'll be able to reset your thought pattern. Another thing that I always say is to actually acknowledge your thought. If you're feeling a bit low, a bit lonely, a bit depressed, a bit anxious, actually acknowledge that feeling rather than, I guess, dismissing it. Acknowledge how you're feeling, or acknowledge the negative thought, and then give yourself a set amount of time to, I guess, be angry, be upset, have a cry, scream into a pillow. Give yourself a set amount of time, so maybe 5 minutes. And then once that 5 minutes is up, you must move on. You must let it go. But I think by acknowledging the thought and actually accepting that, I'm feeling really lonely today, or I'm feeling really negative, actually acknowledge that. Think, right, I'm going to feel this emotion for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to move on. Another one is gratitude. Now, everyone says, be grateful for 3 things, and it does actually work. And I think especially at this moment in time, be grateful for the simple things. The fact that you can go for a walk at lunchtime, when the weather's great. I used to go for a walk every day, and I literally over the past 3 months have watched these ducks grow, and it has brightened up my day. I used to go to this pond near where I live, and I watched these ducks basically grow up, and it was, just the simple things, and I think we kind of almost take advantage of these, or we don't really acknowledge them. And, it's these simple things that actually can pass us by, and they often are the things that make us the happiest. And then another tip, just quickly, and this was something I came up with, was don't procrastinate, rejuvenate. So use the time that you would have been commuting to work, or your lunchtime when you would have maybe just sat at your desk, reading, I don't know, Facebook or LinkedIn or something. Actually use this time to do something productive, like sort out your second bedroom that has become a dumping ground from when you moved house 3 years ago, because let's be honest, we've all got a room in our house that has become a dumping ground. So, use this time to do something productive, clear out a drawer or clothes. Just by doing this, you will actually feel a sense of achievement, and that will help to declutter your mind. And then one more thing, and this is something I used to do when I was working, was to have a me day. I used to have what was called a me day Monday, and it was all about me. I would finish work at 5 o'clock, I would go do a yoga class, and then I would go on and I'd go to choir. I sing in a pop rock choir, and it was all about me, and I loved it. By giving myself something to look forward to and a reason to leave work and to switch my computer off, having that higher purpose actually made me more productive. It gave me something to look forward to. And I think this is really important, especially at the moment when people are working from home. End times can sort of, I guess, spill over into personal time. Really have a reason to switch your computer off, whether it's a virtual, I don't know, yoga class or something, or you walk or something like that. Give yourself that higher purpose. Quite often our thoughts and feelings are very habitual, and this is the part that a lot of people struggle with. The way we react to things is because, we have been doing this for years. It's kind of conditioned, and it's become our default way of, reacting to things. So mindfulness brings conscious awareness to the way you think and feel, and actually gives you some coping strategies and ways to change your mindset. Mindfulness can really help you be more productive. especially if you know thoughts like you know, I don't have time for meditation pop into your mind, because actually by meditating, like I said, it will make you more focused, it will bring clarity, it will make you more productive. And yeah, it's been, I mean, I've loved it for my own benefit as well. But certainly, like I said earlier, mindfulness is very closely linked with, you know, resilience, emotional intelligence, empathy, and all of this can be used in the workplace. It's also brilliant if you're wanting to be, you know, use it to be a more conscious and empathetic leader.